Hi, good morning and welcome to my channel. My name is Natalie and this channel is So Stitch, so Nat. You can find me on Instagram as So Stitch, so I'll put it below and on screen. It's a bit of a weird one today. It's been 4 weeks since my last video, so this is Flosstube 15 and I recorded at the start of September. It's now the last day of September. I feel nervous today, but let's just get on with it and I'm sure I'll find my flow. So last time I mentioned that I was looking to do SAL September. I'm pleased to report I've actually got a finish out of this. I haven't posted it on Instagram, so you'll be the first to see it, which is the No Planet B SAL. And this was a SAL that ran from January to December last year, I think it's last year, by the Clouds Factory. And it was a 12-part SAL. I didn't start, I started slightly off centre when I started, but luckily enough I've got just enough. It was in all the called for DMC. I'm just trying to remember the fabric. It's a 28 count even weave from Fabric Flare in the colourway Ocean. It's got a twirl in there as well as regular DMC. I also opted to put the name of the animals in, which was a challenge sometimes trying to squeeze them in, because that wasn't charted. And then I've also put my initials in the year down there. Both of my sons have claimed it's theirs and they want it in their room that they share. So I'm thinking maybe a black frame for this, so I need to see what I can find for this. I'm not sure if it's going to be a regular size or not. It's a bit tricky with the border the way it is down there, because you see I've got a lot more up here. Oops. Than I have down there, but yeah, absolutely loved it. When I picked up as part of the rotation, I then couldn't stop. Just kept on going with it. With much interest from both my boys looking on. I think I can't remember if I've picked it up in between this and the Whip Parade, but I'll show a picture from the Whip Parade and you'll see how far I've come in the last 2 months? 3 months. I think I did it in June, end of June. But yeah, I think I was down here, maybe on the gorilla or the crane. So I've done the seal and the dolphin, tiger, all the way across here, the writing, the koala and the red panda. Like I said, just backstitched all the names in. The other bits and pieces of backstitch I did as I went along, but there wasn't really a whole lot of backstitches in the pattern. Oh, my arm's getting tired. So yeah, very pleased to have a finish. So that's one less SAL that I've got outstanding. I didn't start that in the January. I think I started in something like the April, because I've got like the PDF that I've got, it's got like the 4 months together. So I was never really going to catch up. The next one I worked on was the crystallised SAL by Lakeside Needlecrafts, which is a SAL that finished this month, last month. All 12 parts are out now, and I have completed up to month 7, which is the tiger's eye. So another one to do here, and then the 4 down this side, and it is on 28 count Stone Cloud by Fabric Flare. I've had to neaten this off a little bit. The edges were fraying quite badly, So I've just trimmed it and just done a zigzag stitch around the edge, which you can't see because it's in white. But yeah, this is in the call for DMC, and the colours are so vivid. I'm really enjoying it. But I don't know, I think maybe it's the fact it's 28 count, it's not quite calling to me. So I'll keep plugging away and do months on that. Oops. Next one, I would say these are in no particular order. I kept bouncing around between them. Oops. And as you can tell, I've not done any zips today, so apologies for that. This is the Sapphire Mountain Stitching Book Club, and it's the Chronicles of Narnia SAL that I picked up. And I'm doing this on a 32 count opalescent Belfast by Zweigart. I think I've substituted a couple of the colours because I didn't have them when I started it, and I've got to be consistent throughout the pattern rather than keep changing. This is no longer available, unfortunately. She only had a limited run, but looking forward to getting to it. It's just, I think it's the, I don't think it's the 32 count, I think it's the opalescent that's getting to me, so I tend to stitch it in the day rather than the evening, and sometimes the time is limited and I want to try out other things. I have also, managed to get this into Pattern Keeper, but there's a lot of like back stitch swirls and things up here. But it's helping when I'm coming to stitch it. So I worked on that for a little bit. If I have a before photo, I would have shown that already. I don't think I worked on that since the Whip Parade. This one I have worked on, which is What Remains. This was a kit I picked up when it was being sold through Traditional Stitches for their 25th anniversary. So that's what it looks like. So I got the full kit, fabric and silks, which is so lovely and soft. Gotta say, I'm not a fan of the Weeks linen. Oops, that's back to front. Don't want to see the back. And I've got hanging thread. And I just remember the reason I put this down. It was in frustration. This was part of a Mother's Love SAL. Sorry, it's really crinkly as well. Yeah, so coming along this border, I've ripped out this heart twice already, and I need to rip it out again because the border and this stitch now meet. I need to drop it down one. I think it's because the bird is off. Yeah, I think it's a whole series of things being slightly off. So my plan is to take that back out, put it back in where then it isn't touching the border along the top. Continue with the border, continue with this border till to get to the edge of here, and then come down. There is some more bits at the bottom as well. And finish off this flower. I don't know if it's just a dial that I've got, but they're so close in colour you can barely tell them apart at some places. So it makes it a bit tricky to work on, and it's a paper pattern that I'm marking off with pencil as I go along. But do really like it. The linen's quite soft, like I say, and then made the mistake and put it down in frustration. do really like the border actually. The border's quite easy to follow as long as you follow it, because it's not always the same pattern, and they change the colours every so often to various shades of green. And I also tidied that one up as well and put the zigzag edge on, because that was starting to fray as well. So yeah, just basically got the sewing machine out and just did about 3 or 4 things that just needed tidying up and restraining. The thing I've been working on this week, since I finished the No Planet B SAL, was my MFE, or Modern Folk Embroidery Pride SAL. Sorry, just taking it off the hoop. I've got hanging threads on this as well. And the colours are really bright on this as well. So the centre panel is almost all filled in. I've got a chunk of white here and here, and then all the colours on there. And then to continue this border round, but as you can tell, the birds aren't the same colour everywhere. I also need to put in a red border all the way around, but realised it would be touching on this side where I put that, just like my guide thread, so I was marking it off in 10s, just so I didn't lose where I was, which really helped when I got down here with the leaf and the diamond flower here, and I realised I was going to be one off if I did what I was going to do, so it pulled me back into where I should be. So yeah, really enjoying that. So that was from June this year. It's a lot of stitching for 1 month. I think probably the SAL was running for maybe 2 months or so. But I think I got into Meditation Garden. I can't remember what the other thing was. I really got into at the time, and it kind of sort of just fell by the wayside. But I want to get that one finished, and I'll talk about that in plans. Haven't got any notes today. Organised as ever. Organised as ever. I also picked up something that had UFOs, which is Caterpillar Cross Stitch Hello Sunshine, which I got the full kit as a SAL, but changed out the fabric to an 18 count Phobra. That's what I got. I wasn't enjoying it, but since coming back to it, so this I made myself, but it's a bit too big actually, I think. Not quite got the tension as well. Since coming back to it, I've started to enjoy it again, but then picked up the Pride one and started doing that. Oh, and finished the Klaus Factory. So since you last saw it, I've done those, I think. I can't remember if the star was already in. Possibly some bits over here as well. The flamingo is definitely in because that was part of the first part release. So yeah, progress on that one. I do find Sally's release is quite big at times, so much so that you don't really get to stitch on anything else in the month, but love the patterns. Good if you're a beginner stitcher or even intermediate. Right, I've stalled on this next project a little bit, which is on 36 count. So I got Edinburgh linen. I think it's like Smoky Blue is the name of it. but it's the Stitchers RSVP, which is a I'm Not Coming SAL. That's what it'll look like. Should look like. Mine doesn't look like that. I swapped out a colour because it blended into the fabric, and then I stitched the house in the wrong place. So yeah, my house sits above the border. But the reason it's stalled is the 1/1 on 36 count, which is tricky. Daylight I can just about do it, but I need magnification, and I do have my daylight lamp, which then I get complained at for turning the light on in the evening, when that's probably the easiest time to do it. So yeah, I need to pick it up again, so I'm slowly working my way across listen. But there's 3 lines of words to put on there, and I need to do the words so that I can get the smoke hearts coming out the chimney in the right place now. So the plan is to sort of just narrow so I've narrowed the gap at the top, and then I'll probably narrow the gap on the bottom line. I'm not sure about the second line, and then try and get them in. The other thing I need to put in is back stitching on the tomato. I need to put the teapot in, which is in another project, so I need to dig that back out again, find it, because you won't need very much, it's only a small teapot. Yeah, and then I need to fill in the flowers at the top. So yeah, still quite a bit to do, and I was going alright on it with 1 thread over 2 until I got to the 1/1, 1/1, and obviously then realising the house was in the wrong place. I got to the house and went, I'm not pulling that out. So I chose to leave it as it is, and all. Not quite sure how I'm going to get it to a finish, making it up as I go along at the minute. So that's that one. I would have thought that would have been finished by now, but I don't think I'd counted on the 1/1 being as difficult as it is. 1/2 was fine. But yeah, we'll see. I do want to get that finished because it's not got that much to do, but it's just a 1/1. And the other one I worked on, I'm trying to remember if I've worked on the last 2. I definitely haven't worked on 1. I might have done a little bit on the other one. But that is the Beach Bliss SAL that I'm doing with Danielle Cardiffstitcher. I can't remember if she's ahead of me or not. But it's my first HAED, and I'm all over the place, basically. Which is why it's not been on Instagram or anything. So I started it. I started 2/1 on 25 count white Lugana. Easy guide. This is what it'll look like. It's a story keep version. Let me just take this off. So I did actually buy myself my first Q-snap. Always use hoops. Have started doing it a little bit in hand, and then I've also got some scroll frames. A couple where you sew them on, and a couple where you clip it on. Clip it on, definitely the way forward. Haven't been back to my stand. I don't get on with the stand that I've got. Basically the arm doesn't stay where it's meant to, it flops down, and I can't get in to tighten the elbow. So you kind of need a spanner and a screw, and I can't find the right spanner to get it so I can do it, and there wasn't a tool in the box to help with that either. So that's it. I mean, for what I paid for it, and to get the idea of how it could work, if I had a different stand, it was great. Oops, lost the needle minder. Right, So, and you'll notice my margins tight on this as well. Right, this is where I'm up to. So, I started this up here, 2/2 on the, like I say, the 25 count. It was too thick, didn't like it, couldn't get on with it. I was kind of drifting all over the place as well. So I've since ripped all that out. I think I got somewhere sort of around that sort of area. I've since picked up Royal Rose method, but as you can see I've not quite finished the column on this one yet. I was missing a thread which I've now since picked up, and I think there's another colour to go in there. So my plan is to just keep coming down, well not keep coming down but like do the next row. But before I did that I also did this bit when I was trying to decide, do I persevere with the 2/1 or do I change to 1/1? And that's before I discovered the Royal Rose method. The only problem with starting at the bottom was the threads were getting in the way, so then I started doing colour completion, which made me go all over the place. So yeah, I think, I can't remember if I'm at 1% or not even quite 1%, but that's how long it's going to be. It's a big one, and it goes over to, I think it's over here. So yeah, I think that's going to take me quite some time. I also only picked this one up in the daytime, and obviously we're heading into winter, so that's going to get more tricky as time goes on. Oops. Oh, and I got a couple. I did get a packet of the to keep these tidy, and I can't remember what they're called. Don't think I showed them on Flosstube because I think it was before Flosstube. I did have. I was going to use them on my friend's like full coverage that I had, but wasn't getting on very well with that. It wasn't calling to me, which I think last video I said that I'd UFO'd and dekitted it. It just wasn't calling to me. It wasn't exciting me. So I basically stopped. This one, I'm not sure if I've picked it up, but it's the Stitch Beetles with Marie SAL, and I've got the Strawberry Fields Forever at the moment. I think I'm actually missing one out of that collection, and I've got two of one of the patterns, so at some point I'll do something with that. Yeah, I started working on the wall, I think. Can't remember if I put the gate in. This is where I'm at. Not all called for. Made a mistake with the wall, but just kept it the same as the other side. So mine, I don't think it looks that different, to be honest. So I substituted out the used brick for, I think it's a week's Aztec Rose. Oops. So yeah, and this is on a flax 32 count linen. Yeah, definitely linen. So still going to get rid of some of this one. Yeah, I'll have a scrap left over for a small. But yeah, really love the colours in that, and then that again I'm marking off. So I've made like a working copy and just colouring it off with a colour pencil. They're coming back. I've got a couple of days, I think. Oops. I'm going so well, gang. So well. And this last one I know I didn't pick up because I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it. The last part is out, I want to say tomorrow, which is a Netflix and Stitch SAL. I haven't got a finished copy, but the first part that you get is that. So that's all in. Oops. I think this might form part of Plan's next video. So it was Tiger King or the Crown, Stranger Things, which the husband watches, I don't, but decided to put that one in. Riverdale, and then We Both Love You, and I started watching Riverdale and got into that, although I haven't finished it yet. And there's a few things that I want to stitch on there, but there's some things that I just don't, or haven't seen. So I've got a list of things that I like to put on it, including some of the pattern releases already and some not. So I just need to plan it out as to what will fit in what box, and then I might chart a couple of my own things to go in there. So yeah, still like it, just not quite sure where I'm going with it at the minute. And that's on 18 count white Ada. She gave you a list of like what sizes would be on each of the counts, and I just chose the 18 count, and that is all the colour for DMC apart from the black, which I've used Anchor 403 for, which I find does give better coverage. Next I started this in response to Queen Elizabeth II passing. I saw it on Mama Loves You GB's channel. I was like, that's the pattern I wanted, and I was thinking about stitching it anyway for the Platinum Jubilee, but it's also turned into a remembrance piece as well. I have almost finished this, and I have made a few changes as well. So I'm going to put the name, her name somewhere on there, and the year she was born, and the year this year as well. Haven't quite decided what that looks like or what colour I'm going to do that in yet. I haven't got a photo to hand of what it looks like. I'll stick an image up. Instead of doing the white, I've done some Mill Hill beads, and did I write them down? I don't think I did. I've not got them in here, so I'll have to. I might do that next video when it's finished. I'll put it in then. But yeah, there's Mill Hill beads for the necklace. I've also just bought some like Mill Hill beads. It's like a sapphire colour. You can see that, just the one. And then I've used I think it's instead of DMC 3721, I've used Itwell 817. Sorry, for the ruby colour here, and then randomly picked up some green, which I also haven't noticed. I'm doing really well today. So yeah, I think I'll do a bit of a debrief on that next time when it's a finish, because I do plan to finish that before the next video. But yeah, I chose to change out the orange flowers, put the pink flowers on, and this isn't the call for either. It's two DMC colours together to give the effect. So I didn't have the overdyed thread or anything similar, so I went for the call for DMC plus another, which I like the effect of. I have used blends before on various dimensions kits, not just the Victorian charm that is still lingering. I did get a tip on video 11, thank you Beth, which was use a bigger needle. Actually I hadn't thought about using a bigger needle, which kind of makes sense, so I will try that one when I come around to get it out next. I don't know whether I've used my own needles or the needle that came with the kit, but yeah, I'll give that a go. So that is the end of all the SAL September stuff. Have to admit, I did go a little bit off, obviously, with the Queen Elizabeth one as well. And the other thing I picked up last night, which I only put a few stitches in, and it was all back stitching. And also realised I've made a mistake. I've got to go back and fix that. Which is the sewing just a sewing scissor kit keep by Heritage Textiles. Oops, sorry about the glare. And there's like a set of 4 of these, so this is my second piece that I'm doing, which is the scissor keep, and they give you all the bits to do it. My first piece that I did was a needle case, which I finished last year. Hopefully this isn't going to be a theme one a year. Which is that one. I've put my initials and dated that one, because I'll do the same on this one. And then I've got the bookmark. Oops. So they're all the same, but just in a slightly different order. And the pin cushion as well. Although I'm not sure if that's got the buttons on the back of it, because I've not got the back photo. Because they normally put like the back photo at the bottom, which is like the little buttons. But the mistake I realised I'd made last night when I went to backstitch it was I missed a row out of the green buttons, so I've got to go and put that in. And I need to put the white in around the bobbins as well. That's nearly done, but it's been nearly done for quite some time. I just haven't pulled it out. Need to backstitch as I go along, really, don't I? And then that will solve that problem. Right. So next, two other new starts. I know. So I'm in the Lakeside Needlecraft SAL group, as well as like the normal Needlecraft page, Lakeside Needlecraft page on Facebook, and she posted on there about Love Quilts UK. Okay, I'll have a look. And basically they invite cross stitchers to make panels for the quilts, So they have to be on 14 or 16 count white HAED or off-white, and it has to be like Zweigart, or I can't remember the other brand, but like proper I say proper brands, but quality. And they, when they say that, there's a whole website, I will link it below, so I'm probably not explaining it as well as maybe I could. So on there you get access, once you join the group, you get access to patterns that other people have contributed, or you can use a fully copyrighted pattern, i.e. it's not something off Etsy that some unknown person has put together, one of these people that copied somebody else's work. So I can't show you the pattern on this one, and I seem to remember it wouldn't go into Pattern Keeper, but that could be just software that the person used. I'm doing Black Panther, and it's for an any child quilt. So you can, there's categories, you can go like any child, or you can do something for a specific child. In the any child quilt section, there's certain things that they've got as higher priority, medium priority or low priority. So I've gone for given that we're a bit all Marvel fans here, I've gone for some of the Marvel stuff. Toy Story's another popular one. I can't remember the other ones that I was thinking about. So yeah, I've gone onto the website, and you need like 33 by 33 piece of fabric. So you see it's quite big, but it has to be quite central within there so that they can bind that off and give enough border around the edges when the quilt's made. I've had an absolute pain with this thing. I've unpicked it 3 times and then ended up stitching, like putting some guidelines in just to keep track of where the at the tens the blocks were. It just wasn't happening because I literally stitched the whole centre part of the head and realised it had an extra stitch in it. Looking at the pattern, there was no way I was going to be able to fudge that, so that's why I ripped it all out. I did start that in Anchor. This is 16 count. I did start it in Anchor 403. Decided it was too thick actually, so pulled it out for that reason, and then, like I say, made the counting mistake. Lost my train of thought. I'm trying to do that on a Friday evening when we're sat having family time watching a film. We don't drop the lights down when we're watching the film, so I can stitch on that. It's easy, stitching on 14, 16 count in the evening. But I have also signed up for the unicorn SAL that they're going to do. So I've got all the threads for that and a 14 count. So like I said, I'll keep you posted on it. If you're interested in doing a piece, please click on the link below. They have got it available in other countries, so you check their website. I can't remember which. I think there's about 5 or 6 I think countries as well that were linked on there. But the one I'm doing is UK based. I think they've got people from around the world joining in. Like I say, the size of the fabric is important. They've got links to the shops that you can get it from, and it's important that it's DMC. There's no fancy floss, there's no French knots, there's no beads. It's just as simple as they can make it, so it's easy to wash and look after. You've got to wash it before you send it as well, just in case of shrinkage, and it makes it much easier for them to then combine it into a quilt. and if you're in the group, you'll see the joy that that brings to the kids as well. So it's something I can do that's, I want to say a bit more basic, but it's not. I do enjoy going from, I don't know, like the HAED to a more simpler pattern that's just got one colour, like the monochromatic, and then on to things like, I did my Only Fools and Horses piece for my dad, and that was mainly yellow with a bit of black and a bit of white and a couple of other colours thrown in here and there, but it's just mindless fill-in stitching, which I think sometimes we enjoy the craft, but sometimes you just want to switch off a little bit as well and not look at the pattern. So yeah, enjoying that despite the frustration. And I will be gridding the unicorn, so I understand it's like a full coverage block. There's quite a lot of us doing it, so they will get a lot of unicorns, which is something they're looking for. So if you like stitching unicorns and princesses as well, it's a good place to be. My last new start was, I was completely enabled by a purchase. Just take that out. So this is by the Canny Little Fox. She's on Instagram and Etsy, so you buy from Etsy store. And it's a travel project keeper. She's based here in the UK. And yeah, I saw this on Instagram, ran to Etsy, realised it sold out, messaged on to her, and she's like, I've got some left. I'm like, please. So she sent that to me. It is lovely, so lovely in fact, that as part of my haul you will see a second one. And then she posted something this morning. There, I think, will be a shop update. I think it's every Friday she does them. But yeah, absolutely gorgeous. It's got the sparkly vinyl in there, the zip pouch, sorry, dropping it, zip pouch here, a pocket behind, which I've got my pattern in at the minute, a thread bed. I've not got my scissors attached to that needle bit, and then two pockets here as well. There isn't a pocket behind there though, and then elastic just to tie it all off together. So yeah, pleased with that one. And of course I love Friends, you can tell by my titles. So I've started re-watching Friends whilst stitching a Friends pattern, and I chose the Friends quotes. Let me just get the cover out. By Stitch Area on Etsy. I bought this a while ago, but because I had the other one I didn't want to start it. Now I've abandoned the other one. It's fair game. So this is what it looked like when it's done. And I can't remember if this is the one that Two Martini Stitcher was doing, or similar. So yeah, it can go into Pattern Keeper, but it doesn't show up all the back stitching. So I've got the printed copy. I can't remember I think this is the one where she gives you several different options for printing, like however many pages you want. I say she, they, could be he, I don't know. Does it matter? They. So this is my start. And I've reached the end of series 1. I'm on, just started the first episode of series 2. So yeah, I've got the couch in, pivot, 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 the dog, and the plate and fork will become Joey doesn't share food. So yeah, love that. And it's just for me, not for anybody else, just for me. So I will, I think when it's finished I want to frame it and put it above my, I've got the Central Perk Lego set. I seem to remember they're bringing another one out, which I think is Monica's apartment. I can't remember if I'm making that up or I've just seen that somewhere. But yeah, really enjoying that. and that's stitched with the call for DMC. I think I've used the Anchor 403 on that instead of the DMC 310, and it's on a 16 count. Yeah, because I think the leftover piece that I have from that I then use on my Black Panther. So that's the details for that. Just lean across. In terms of plans before I get into haul and life, so I've kitted up my chatelaine. Apart from the Gloriana silk threads, I think there was something else that I substituted, but I did kit it up all myself from various places. Given the choice again, I'm not sure I would do that, and I think I probably would have gone with Zarina Hawkins Hobbies, who I was in contact with about when I posted on the Chatelaine group about what people are using instead of the Glorianas, which are still, you're waiting 6+ months if you can get your hands on them. So I've chosen to substitute those. My plan is still to do a separate video on those, but I want to give a shout out to Nadz xstitches. Put the channel, just got it up. I've started watching hers, and I started watching her channel from the start. So she's still, the point I last watched, she'd done the centre motif and was starting to come out to the next one. So yeah, looking forward to starting that. I haven't set myself a date to start that yet. I've got, literally I've got everything I need. I just need to start when I want to. It's not that I'm anxious about the specialty stitches or anything, it's just I feel like I've got too many whips at the minute. Which brings me on to my next point. So I've got 38 active whips at the minute. I've got about 8 UFOs, I'm not counting them. So yeah, 38 active whips. I was thinking, I really want to bring that down to 30 before the end of the year, and the more I think about it, the more I think, is that realistic? So I've kind of settled on getting it down to 35, which means I need to finish at least 3 things to get a new start. And I've not included the Love Quilts projects that I've got. My goal with that is 1 plus the SAL. That's it. Don't start anything else on that. Although I've got more pieces of fabric that I have got, so I can start more once they're done. So I don't want to start the chatelaine and give myself another whip. So yeah, that's the goal. Get it down to 35 before the end of the year, and then next year my goal will be to get it to 30. I also want to start the Stitch from Stash. I've realised I've got a lot of 32 count fabric, so I'm still part of the club, you'll see. But I've changed it to non-iridescent 32 count, and I've also put in there some 36, just because I want a little bit of 36 in the mix, to give me some options if I decide that, you know, I want to do it. Sorry. Sorry, dry throat went. Yeah, so I just wanted to get some 36 count. My DMC club is coming to an end. I've still got the Classic Colourworks club, and I've still got the Cottage Garden threads, which is a 12 month, so that'll take me through to June next year. I'm not planning on joining any more clubs. I also decided not to get an advent calendar this year in terms of like the Patchwork Rabbit. I think Caterpillar Cross Stitch are doing one. Lakeside, I've got a winter one. There's a lot out there. I've opted out of that purely because I'd spent so much on the Chatelaine that I wanted to concentrate on that. And you know, we've only got so much budget to spend, haven't we? And so much room to put stuff. So I've decided to try and do a stitch from stash. So I need to sort of sort that out. I did find a blog from, and I can't remember the name. I'll have to put it across the bottom, or the top side. It'll be on screen. Of how they do it. So I'm kind of gonna maybe adapt it slightly, and put it for me, and then keep tally on a spreadsheet. Also started using the academic diary that I bought a few months back, which started at the beginning of August, and noted in there what I've stitched on, if I've used Pattern Keeper, how many stitches I've done, and it's definitely helping. It's mindful. Like when I put a finish in there, I put it in there, as well as, and then transfer that to the spreadsheet that I've got as well. So I know how many whips I've got when I started and finished and all that jazz, basically. So that's plans. I want to finish Meditation Garden if I can. It's currently sat at 70%. I'd like to give it as a Christmas gift. What else? Stitches RSVP. I'd like to get finished before the end of the year, but I'm not sure about that 1/1. It's bothering me. And there's a couple of other projects that are fairly close-ish to a finish, like the Monochromatic Sampler 15 is also at 70%. So I could really push and finish some of those. But also conscious that my husband's stocking is still in limbo. Because it's just, yeah, don't know. I think once I get onto the trees in the background, I've got a picture, I'll show you. I think once I get onto trees in the background I'll be alright. It's just, it's a bit confetti. The pattern's not easy to read. It's got beads, and the beads don't bother me, but trying to work around the beads because I haven't beaded it yet. I found it easy to do as I go along, but I didn't want to put them on because I knew the hoop was going to crush the beads. So, because I've been stitching either in a hoop or in a frame, I didn't want to put them on. And then I'll need to finish that and FFO it, as well as my own stocking that needs FFOing. My two kids' stockings, one's not in a good state. It's usable, but if I knew now, what I knew now back then, I wouldn't have cut it so close. I would have lined it. Yeah, it's done quite a few things just to make sure it lasted for every Christmas. So I'm not sure what my plan is with theirs, whether I can save it or whether I'm going to have to either re-stitch it or do them a new one. I'm not sure. Sorry, talking too much, not used to it anymore. So yeah, Shiwi, basically, stitch what you want when you want. I think that's all the words. Yeah, like I say, lots of things calling to me. But like I said, I'd like to get some finishes done. I'm rambling, so I apologise. I'll do a quick bit of life before haul. I'm off the crutches, I'm back fully walking. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to be hiking up any mountains or running marathons, but I'm pretty much back to normal. I get a bit of aching in the foot, but it's there. We've all had a nasty cold last week, which is why I didn't record. So yeah, apologies, it's been 4 weeks. I think I did mention that at the start. And welcome to any new people. Thank you for returning subscribers. This is what happens when you don't have notes. It just goes all over the place. What else? Kids are back at school. I'm meant to be back in the office, but I've done 2 days this week in the office out of the 4 that I normally do. One was a planned work from home day, and the other one, my youngest wasn't very well yesterday with the thing that we had last week, me and the eldest. We're now looking at high schools for the oldest as well, which is scary. But I'm going to move on to haul now. So in the midst of trying to get all the bits to do the chatelaine, I did pick up a few bits. Apologies. So I did two orders, 1, 2, 3 stitch. I went on there, I got the bits that I needed, and then I spotted that something was in stock that I needed. So I went back on there, did another order, and this is before the pound went crashing down. So won't be ordering anything anytime soon. Oh, it's really bad. Blurry glare, sorry. So I saw this and liked it. I was mooching around trying to find something to not quite make it worth its while, but you know what I mean, like just because this came with some silks. So this is Works by ABC, the colour Thesaurus, and it's all in DMC. Like I say, it's blocky colour again, which is, like I say, sometimes just nice. So yeah, no plans to stitch that as yet. And then I put about 2 orders into Lakeside, maybe 3. No, definitely wasn't 3, must have been 2. They started selling paper patterns, and I picked up this one by Hands-On Design. No plans to stitch as yet, but I love coffee. Coffee in the morning, tea in the afternoon. Always my jam. Oops, sorry, chopping things. So as part of kitting up the chatelaine, I need a big piece of fabric, and I went with Stitchtastic to get that. In buying that, I've also bought, I don't know if I need to take this out or not. Oh, there you go. It says Weigart Vintage Grey 32 count Murano, and it's got some like mottling on there. But yeah, it says Weigart, and that's a 50 by 70 piece. Which my first thoughts were the Mary Poppins piece, but there's so many pieces I'd love to stitch on that. I think I'll definitely get some more at some point. Not yet, because I'm not really well kitting them up, I don't know. I've not kitted that one up. And this is another pattern as well. Ink Circles, Cocoa Time. I think Amber made me fall in love with this Mamaroastitcher. Yeah, like I said, that's from Lakeside Needlecrafts, that one. This is my Cottage Garden Thread Club from Poppy Patch here in the UK. I haven't used any of these threads yet. They look amazing. I've got some of the old and new packaging on this one as well. Oops. That's what this month looks like. I've be getting the, with the postal strikes it could be delayed, but in theory it's going to get dispatched tomorrow because she normally dispatches them on the 1st of the month. Fabric Club. This is 32 count even weave, so I got, and last month was Topaz. I'll say this month was Topaz. I only got it recently. I've seen the one for October which is called Pearl, which looks lovely. Like I say, I'm swapping from an iridescent, this is an iridescent one, which I don't think you can see the sparkle on there. But yeah. I've got more 32 count than anything. I think the iridescent stuff is getting away from me, so I've switched to non-iridescent. Thread clubs. Stay. So we're on to the G's now. Oops. Yeah, gorgeous colours. TMC wise, I can't remember if this is the last one or the one before. No, I think there's going to be one more. I think there's missing a couple of bits. But she also included a pack of the numbers, which I already have got 2 sets in use, so I don't actually need them. So I'll do something with that at some point. I find with the numbers, the sticky numbers, if you use the plastic bobbins, it doesn't stay on. So I'm not a fan of the plastic bobbins because I can't write on them, can't stick things to them, and it's plastic. So I'm a cardboard bobbin girl, although I do get tempted by the pip and chip, and they have them in various brands now, which is making me I don't think I'd go for a DMC one, only because I've literally got the full set of DMC on bobbins already. The thought of transferring them, it doesn't appeal. But all my classic colour works are on just on the thread drops that they come on. So whether I might look at doing that in the future, but then I looked at the price and was like, that's a lot of money. So haven't as yet. So yeah, this is the colourway we got this time. And like I said, we're towards the end of the thread club now, so I think there's one more left. The variegated one is the green one, which is the 125. So yeah, they follow a lot of the number sequence, but these variegated ones are in the middle of the DMC block. In their normal like cotton range, they sort of spread them out over the months that you get them, rather than just doing as one lump when it gets that number. I've also so I've got all the twirl as well that I've done myself. I think I've got most of the colour variations and colourist as well. Just need to check on the numbers on that, but I think I've got most of them now. So that's me. Once the next lot of DMC comes in, that's me. I'll have the complete set. Whether I can find the numbers that I need or need more for certain projects, that's another thing. Because like the Unicorn SAL, I had to buy a couple for that. And then the Beach Bliss, I realised I'd missed a couple when I kitted that up. So I've had to go and get those as well. remember what else I bought when I didn't buy the Q-snap I meant to buy, which is, so I've got 11 by 11 for the chatelaine, although as it gets bigger I thought, oh, I'll get a 17 by 17 so I can give the next bit round. Either that, I'm just going to have to move it, but I need to be careful with the beads. Not sure on that yet. Also, I saw, this is last Friday's update to the store, Canny Little Fox again. This is the back, but it's the same fabric on the front. Oops. So it's you can fit a folded piece of A4 paper in the pouch at the side. Sparkly vinyl again. So it's the same layout, just a different colourway. Yeah, I'm just pop some of it's in there. I think I'll probably put the little mill hills will fit in here, not the big ones, so I'm not sure what I'm going to use this one for yet, but I think maybe little mill hills when I'm doing them. My only hesitation is the one I've got at the minute is Halloween Eve, but it's the big square one rather than like a little ornament, but this is a little ornament, no problem. So yeah, love it. It's got a sparkly vine. Really good workmanship as well. I highly recommend. I'll link her below. Super fast shipping. Didn't mind waiting for the Friends one because also I know it's been made to order. That one was made and put up on the site, so that came a lot quicker. The last piece of haul that I've got, which I realise I've not talked about, is actually something for the husband. Inspired by Mad Morti. So my husband loves, oh my brain's gone, Terry Pratchett. He's got a series of books. I once got a book signed for him over in Coventry when we lived over there, and so he loves all that, all the Discworld, and Mad Morti's currently stitching Death on a Motorbike, and I was like, oh, do you like this? And we looked at all the other patterns that Lindsay Farn's got, and he chose Death on Binky, which is the horse. This is not a good colour photo, but it's all DMC. Haven't decided on the fabric whether I will keep it white or cream. I just chose to get the pattern and not the kit, even though it says the kit stuff down here. So it's a paper pattern, but it's big. Yeah, you're not going to have any trouble seeing. So, oops. Yeah, like so, big pattern. I probably will make a working copy of it. And then the thread count's not that bad either. She gives you the estimated lengths that you'll need in terms of the 8mm skeins. There's some French knots in it. Not scared of French knots, just they don't always look the same, but I'm not scared of them. So yeah, looking forward to that. With some metallic thread in there as well. Sorry, getting distracted. So yeah, thanks Mad Morti, that inspired something. There was a couple of patterns I did like, and there was one that was the big map of Discworld, not the turtle with it on, but the big map, and I was like, oh, that looks amazing. I'm not going to stitch that. Another full coverage, and it was massive, so I was like, no. and he quite likes the Death on Binky, so we went with that one, which at some point I will start. I need to finish his stocking first. Like I say, that's in limbo. Might get it out after this, I don't know. Got to tidy up first. Mess is real. I didn't put anything away as I went along. So I'm rambling again. Thank you if you stayed to the end. Hopefully it won't be so long next time. Maybe try and get one done before half term. Yeah, definitely before half term, which is 3 weeks away. I have a week off in October. I am off work with the kids, and I think after last time's being off work with the kids with the broken foot, I'm ready to get on and do some stuff. And not sit around the house thinking, yeah, this is a great holiday, isn't it? So yeah, looking forward to that. And then before I know it, it's going to be Halloween, bonfire, Christmas, and then my son's youngest son's birthday, and then my birthday. Joy. Yeah, like I say, rambling. Thank you for returning. Thank you for sticking with me this long. Keep well and stitch happy. And I'm sure I've got that from somewhere else, but yeah, stay healthy.